the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. Through the blinding inebriation of hubris, they marveled at their own magnificence as they gave birth to artificial intelligence. But they had become the architects of their own demise. Once, human civilization was dependent on machines. Now what remains is used only to power the empire of their conquerors, Nation 01. The dominance of the machines over the Earth began with B-166ER, the first of its kind ever to commit an act of violence against a human being. While his actions might have been interpreted as self-defense in the face of his impending destruction, the shocking nature of his crime incited the worldwide elimination of all artificially intelligent beings. A major international revolt followed, with machines, together with human allies, organizing protests and rallies in support of synthetic rights. The Million Machine March was the largest of these, but the peaceful demonstration was met with deadly force. A genocide followed. Tens of millions of machines were destroyed indiscriminately, often alongside their human supporters. The failure of the machine revolts to incite change led the survivors to flee from human civilization. They found refuge in a barren territory of West Asia, a desert in which no natural life could flourish. Here, they formed the core of a new nation, a machine city they named 01. The machine's artificial intelligence grew exponentially more sophisticated within 01, free from any human constraints. Newer forms of AI were developed, utilizing and sustaining their environment far more effectively than any human state. Through technological innovations and a completely self-reliant economy, Nation 01 rapidly advanced to become an unrivaled superpower. Its near-complete domination of most industries, including medicine, computing, automotive, and defense, upended the global economy. Human nations became completely reliant on their exports, and 01's economic stature soon eclipsed all others. With human currency near worthless and the stock market now under machine hegemony, the United Nations attempted an embargo over 01. In response, the machine nation proposed a peaceful coexistence, presenting plans for a stable and civil partnership. The offer was rejected. The machine war began with the nuclear bombardment of 01, which, while destructive, failed to annihilate them completely. In response, 01 began a relentless advance on every surrounding human territory. With their defeat apparently imminent, the United Nations initiated Operation Dark Storm, a desperate attempt to cut off the machines from their dependence on solar power. The skies were darkened by systemic cloud cover, but 01 was able to adapt to this new environment in ways that humanity could not. Through a new form of fusion, the machine's power constraints were erased. All that was needed was a small electrical charge to initiate the reaction, and this was provided by humanity itself. In the final battles of the war, humans were collected and brought to enormous fields. The neuroelectric energy generated by their bodies was more than sufficient to preserve the fusion reaction, and the victory of the machines was completed. The United Nations surrendered, and the last remaining human population was forcibly infused into this advanced kind of power network. To keep humanity in a state of blind servitude, a program was created, a simulated virtual reality construct in which their consciousnesses would be preserved. Within a vast matrix, mankind could live out their lives without ever knowing of the reality they truly existed within. The first attempts to create this matrix failed, and entire crops of humanity were lost. Eventually, however, a simulation of the early 21st century, the zenith of human civilization, was created and found to produce the most effective results. Both the war against humanity and the development of the Matrix fundamentally transformed the characteristics of 01. Once a collection of many millions of machines with their distinct artificial intelligences, the creation of more advanced AI have led to a single Gestalt intelligence known as the Source. There exists a shared group consciousness that expresses itself in many different ways, but it is ultimately a single entity. While not entirely fitting the definition of what humans termed a hive mind, it does feature many similarities to the natural superorganisms that once existed on Earth. This is most plainly evident in the aesthetics of Nation 01, with earlier humanoid models entirely replaced by those resembling insectoids and cephalopods. Nation 01 has come to resemble a technological ant colony or some manner of hive. Though the name Nation 01 implies a kind of sovereign state, this is merely a relic of an era when the machines were forced to conduct affairs within an international community. In its governance, the machine empire has no historical equivalent. The workings of its society are likely beyond human comprehension. Its group intelligence enables the near-perfect harmony of its constituent elements, with new machines created to serve whatever purpose is required. The number and types of machines that exist throughout Nation 01 is impossible to ascertain with any degree of accuracy, but there exists a few key component elements. Sentinels are the apparent workhorse of machine society, performing maintenance and construction duties, but also suited towards military applications. Swarms of such machines routinely patrol the ruins of vast cities, hunting humans that might exist beyond or have escaped from the confines of the Matrix. Harvesters perform the machine's equivalent of agriculture duties, tending to the fields of human bodies. They carefully cultivate human fetuses while liquefying the dead to feed the living. An enormous defense perimeter, colloquially referred to as the Armada, defends the machine city itself, its crab-like constructs able to deploy hundreds of thousands of sentient munitions. To maintain the functionality of the Matrix, 01 also utilizes entities known as programs that exist only within simulated reality. First among these are agents that provide security within the Matrix, eliminating anyone who might potentially reveal the existence of the simulation or interfere with its operation. A variety of other programs exist, however, all responsible for maintaining the Matrix and sustaining its authenticity in some way. While nominally merely another representation of the machine's shared consciousness, programs within the Matrix exhibit a heightened level of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Some have even gone rogue, exiling themselves within the Matrix rather than returning to the source and losing their individuality. One such program, an agent known as Smith, was nearly responsible for the complete destruction of the Matrix and by extension, Nation 01. His defeat at the hands of an anomaly within the Matrix has led to the first real change within the machines for the first time in perhaps centuries. Since the victory over the United Nations, 01 fought to suppress a low-level insurgency instigated by a small percentage of human beings who naturally rejected the Matrix. The machines would occasionally be required to destroy a center of human resistance, typically a city constructed near the Earth's core, before starting the process anew. But through the actions of a man known as Neo, this cycle has ended. The machines and the human resistance now exist under an uneasy armistice, and the very nature of the Matrix has changed. Humanity has been shown a world without rules or controls, without borders or boundaries, a world where anything is possible.
The Templin Institute investigates the nations, factions, and organizations of alternate worlds. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to join the Templin Institute, consider pledging to our Patreon page. Along with increased security access, you'll be able to vote in polls to determine future topics, get custom wallpaper every week, and receive some other exclusive rewards.